guys, welcome back to the vlog. If you are new, my name is Bonita and we vlog. Today is Thursday. I will put the date on the screen, but when this video goes up, it will be the next day on Friday. So happy Friday, happy weekend. So I wanted to pop on and do a quick Q&A. I'm in the school closet because it's a school Q&A. You guys know that I've recently decided to continue my education, and I got some questions, especially people from my age group, like the 40s and up, thinking about, going back to school. Is it too late to go back to school? Never, 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 ever. It's never too late to go back to school, no matter how old you are, no matter how old, how young. We always want to continue our education. I try to pride myself as a lifelong learner. So yeah, I would always say if you have the opportunity, you have a desire, things are lining up and aligning that you were able to continue your education, definitely take advantage of it. So the first question that I had, and I'm just going from memory, because back in Vlogmas, I announced, I guess, that I was in school because I kept referring to I have some schoolwork to do, and I never really said what I was doing. So we can rewind it back probably sometime last year, and I will link the vlog here that I talked about it in more detail, but sometime last year I was approached to be able to go back to school. And the first time I was approached, actually the year before that, so I would say 2021, I was originally, no, it was before that. So anyway, I'm all over the place, but let's just say it was at least 2 years ago that I was approached to continue my education. And the first time I was approached, I declined because I already have a bachelor's degree, an undergraduate degree, and I do have some certifications beyond that. And I wanted to, after the kids graduated, I got all the kids, I homeschooled the kids. So after I got everybody out and graduated, I was considering going back to finish my master's and then go from there. When I was approached, at the time, the program was only giving people opportunities to get their undergrad, like a BA or BS or whatever, and I already had that, so I thought, no, I don't want to get another one. So I declined it. Then it circled back around sometime, 2 or 3 other times, I would say. But the final time it circled back around was last year. And I told my husband, and he immediately was like, so when do you start? And I told him, I said, well, I'm not going to do it. I hadn't done it because I already have a BA and I don't want another one. And he looked at me like I had 2 heads. He was like, first of all, it doesn't matter. It's free education, and you say that you're a lifelong learner, so you just need to get a degree in something else that you don't already have prior knowledge to. Why not extend your education? So when he put it like that, I felt like this big, because I was like, okay, he's right. So I signed up for the program. Long story short, you guys know that I'm a business owner, and that's one thing that I'm lacking. I have taken some local business classes, for small business owners, women in business, things like that. But I do not have a elite or a high aptitude of like a business acumen that I probably should if I'm going to be, or I am, a business owner. So I enrolled online in an online program in business administration, but with a concentration in organizational leadership. So that is what my degree is in. And because I do have a previous degree, everything transferred. So I started last September, and I will be available for graduation, to put my graduation papers in either this December or next spring. It depends how many classes I take. I usually only take, because the classes are broken down in like 8-week like semesters or mini-mesters. I take the classes back to back. So with that being said, I've taken at least 2 classes each mini-mester. But one class that's coming up, I'm only going to take, it seems to be intense, so I'm going to take that one class. So if I stay on track to take a minimum of 2 classes, I should be either graduating, like I said, in December, or either in the spring. That's the next question. When do I graduate? So December, or either December 2023 or either spring 2024. I talked about my major. Okay. And so another question people ask, is it hard? It is, because I have been out of college almost 30 years. It's about 28 years exactly that I have graduated college. As a matter of fact, you guys know I went to Bennett College, HBCU. We have our anniversary coming up, and this May actually. And so it has been almost 30 years since I've been in school. And so yes, it is hard. Even though I am a teacher, I have taught, being on the other side as a student has been really hard for me, because the last time that I was in school, it was a face-to-face program, and I could have transitioned to a face-to-face program, but with running a business, also, you know, doing social media part-time, I just didn't think I had the time to sit in a classroom. So I opted to do it online, and I don't necessarily would suggest someone in our age group, unless you are totally like tech savvy, which I'm okay. I mean, I know the basics. I mean, and it's because my husband is in the industry, and of course my children. Sometimes I get turned around with we used to call it Blackboard when I was in college. It like just had started. Blackboard, like the online learning spaces, had just started to get popping. It's called Brightspace, what we use, and sometimes I do get a little turned around, but I manage. So if you're not so computer literate or with like apps and uploads and things of that nature, I would suggest face-to-face, but if you think you can handle it, online learning is great. Another question was, I guess that question was online versus face-to-face. I prefer face-to-face because I am a people person. That's how I learn, from like face-to-face. I'm a hands-on learner, so it's best for me. But the school that I am enrolled in, they do a really good job with making sure that you do feel like you're face-to-face and you're not just like behind a screen or a number. There's lots of chats, there's lots of emails, of course discussion boards, but you get to, you know, see your advisors, professors. There's clubs that you get to join, which I thought was pretty cool. So they do a really good job of trying to make sure you don't feel like a number or whatever. Another question that I got was, how do you choose a school? You definitely want to decide, after you decide what you want to go to school for, you want to decide like what program is best for you, and then you want to choose the school obviously based on if they have your program and if they are going to be, I guess kind of cater to adult, non-traditional learners. Enroll in college over the age, I think, of like 21. And if you're like working full-time, or if you go part-time or whatever, you're kind of considered like an adult learner, a non-traditional student, and you are going to want to find a program that caters to that, or that has a really good support system for that. If you enroll in a school that doesn't, I'm not saying you can't be successful, but it probably are going to be a little hard, because they're just not used to schools that cater to non-traditional students. Are very sympathetic. Your deadlines are different. Things are due like every other week instead of every Thursday at midnight. I mean, some classes, my discussion boards are still Thursday at midnight, but other classes, other professors, because you are a non-traditional learner, they're able to allow you to submit your things in your own particular time zone, and not the school's time zone. So that'll give you more time, and you just have a lot more options. So I would suggest, if you are a non-traditional learner, if you're an older student, I would find a program that caters to that. I just wouldn't even, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't consider a program that doesn't have it, but just know what you're getting into. Another question I got, how do I pay for school? What programs did I go through? I was blessed, like I said, to be approached with it. So I go at zero cost to me. My books are paid for, my class fees are paid, my registration fees are paid. So I was blessed for that. But there are programs out there, and I was considering trying to pursue a master's degree. My husband is a veteran, so we have military funding that I can apply for. You can definitely apply for that. Schools have scholarships for non-traditional students, older adult learners. Before I even let them know that my things were going to be paid for, I asked, you know, how can you help me? I want to go back to school. You know, when I was initially talking to the advisors, I want to come back to school. I want to enroll in your program. You know, what do you have to offer me so that I feel comfortable enrolling? Because if not, I'm going to pursue another program who may want to give me money. That's what I would do, and then start out slow. And if you have to pay for it, take one class at a time, and then tell them, okay, or I'm going to pay for one class, but I need you guys to pay for one class. I mean, there's ways around it. In 2023, I believe that education should be free for all of us, regardless. If anybody wants to go to school, my personal feeling is it should be free. There's funding out there. The school gets financial aid in the form of scholarships, private donors, and all of that you should not have to take a loan out to go to school. I would just try to stay in the financial aid pocket of grants, scholarships, private donations, those types of things. And if you work for a company, your company will pay for, you know, you to go back to school one class at a time. Your church may pay for it. My church does. Anybody, young, old, big, small, they will pay for at least one class a semester. So I would just get all these different fundings just to make sure that you have what you need to go to school. Husband's company pay for him all the time. Now it's because they want him to continue his education according to what he does in the tech field, but still, education is education. They pay for him to go to school, to take these certifications, and to do all of that. I mean, he finished another degree last year. So they pay for him to do all of this stuff. And when he's ready to retire, he still has that education. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. He can continue to work for himself. He can retire, or, you know, he can teach people in the technical field because they can't take that education away from him. So another question is, how do I balance it all? I'm just a special person as it relates to like juggling. I have gotten, which is not a good thing, I think that I have gotten used to like having a lot on my plate, which is not a good thing. I'm not promoting that, but being a mom, just, you know, I'm just used to it. I am used to juggling a few things at once. But you have to be organized. You have to make time for it because, I mean, you have to fit everything around the school program. My school is flexible, but it still has the benchmarks and the goals and the deadlines that I have to meet. So I had to kind of make my life fit into my school schedule. On Mondays anyway is a business work day, is an admin day for me. It's very rare that I have clients on Mondays because I try to use that as like my business day to do my work, to do marketing, to reconcile my income that I made the previous week, buy supplies, things like that I need for my business. So on Mondays, I'm at the studio and I'm doing that, and then I carve out another few hours to do schoolwork on Mondays. Okay. Tuesdays I usually film. Wednesdays, if I don't have a client, then it's gonna be a total work day for school. Same thing with Thursdays. Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays are my heavy client days. If I don't have a client, or if I have like 1 or 2 clients, I find time to get my schoolwork done. My goal is to have all of my schoolwork done and submitted by Friday so I can have the weekend with my family, with my husband. Friday is date night. So I don't want to be, you know, not having to do date night to go to school, to have schoolwork, but I'm not always successful at that. I find myself doing a lot of work on Saturdays and Sundays which I'm gonna, this month in February, I'm gonna tighten that up. Just have to balance and juggle and think about in your mind that this is only a season. My grandma used to say, trouble don't last always, meaning there's gonna be a beginning and ending to things. And if your support system, whether it be your husband, your children, you know, whoever, let them know that, yeah, I mean, I'm about to go back to school, things are gonna look a little different, but if it's only gonna be for a year or two or whatever, I'm gonna do my best to still be present and accountable, but I'm gonna need your help. All right, guys, well, I guess that's it. That's pretty much all the questions that I can remember that I had, but I guess the final thing that I would say is that if you are thinking about going back to school, if you're older, you know, and you're thinking about going back to school, or if you, or, you know, a traditional student getting ready to go to college or extend your education for the first time, I would say just to do it. We're not going to talk ourselves out of blessings this year. That is one thing that I have written down that I said, I am not going to talk myself out of blessings. If God wants to bless me and he sees fit, then he's going to give me the provisions and the wherewithal and the gumption to go through it. You just want to plan. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. You want to be a good steward over your time. You want to budget if it's going to cost you anything. You want to budget. You want to keep the cost to you as low as possible. So that means scholarships, grants, funding, personal funding, support from work, whatever it looks like for you. You want to keep your personal out-of-pocket expenses little to nothing. And I would just say do it. Just do it. Education, like my husband reminded me of, is something that no one can ever take away from you. Ever. And it's just something that we all need. We all should consider it, no matter what level it is. It's something that's gonna always benefit us. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this small Q&A video about me going back to school. And I will share more things along the way, you know, obviously in vlogs. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. And I hope that you have the most amazing weekend. I will see you in the next one.